Much love, friends. Hope your days are interesting. Hope you're gaining clarity as to what to do with your life and feeling more connected and grounded, and are being honest with yourself about where you're at so that you can truly stop spinning your wheels and come out of your mind and drop into your feelings and let them move through you and guide you. And I hope that you are utilizing the tools that are available to you that makes it so much easier. Whether it's magical passes or finding a dojo to train in or a place to build your inner strength. So thankful for everyone that's joined the course. It's just been so strong, and so thankful to be connecting with all of you. And honored to have met so many incredible people in such a short period of time. A lot of doors are opening for me, and really thankful for what's coming down the line in this linear realm. The Earth Mother's very available to be with, and even I resist how available that is. It's okay to be where we're at. We don't have to pretend or force ourselves to prove anything to anyone or even to us. It's just about accepting and being. And then following your intuition is how to take care of yourself in this as you change the things that used to do it for you to stop working, and that's because you're evolving. It's uncomfortable, but it's what helps you to grow. And the comfort zone is entrapping, so we in fact, comfort ends up being uncomfortable. So we actually, the real comfort comes is by expanding your consciousness and having a more expansive resiliency, being able to experience more things. So for somebody that spent a lot of time alone, it might be important for them to go learn how to be with people. And for someone that's been very social, it might be good to learn to be alone. Just depends on where you're at. But there's a guidance system that your body can pick up on, your feeling center. When we come out of the mind and we stop trying to be like others or follow a model, we pick up on the energy. We start to use our intuition. And the more we do that, the stronger it gets. But we've been raised in a world in which everything was inverted to make sure that we didn't have access to that capacity to do so. So it can be quite uncomfortable. And so that's why information can be so entrapping, as people get caught up in needing to know what's going on. And I think that's going to be difficult for a lot of people to heal from and to let go of all the stories. Just be and allow their intuition to know what's going on. There's a part of you that knows what's going on regardless of anything you're tapped into. And you don't even need to know what's going on anyways. So it's the mysteries lie outside of the dramas. And there's so much freedom in learning to go inward. And it's okay wherever you are. If you're still caught in the information, enjoy it, have fun with it. But know that there's going to come a point where it's going to stop doing it for you. It's going to stop being the thing, and you're going to start becoming more and more interested in hanging out in the dark alone and just staring into it. Because it's not just dark. There's a whole realm of energy to observe. There's all kinds of things to do with the sun. Gazing will change your life once you understand how to be silent. you can observe your world from a different angle, so to speak, and then everything changes. Life is no longer a place for distraction, it becomes a place for journeying, directly applying your intention to your perceptual expansion. And that means going into your pain as well as going into your ecstasy. And that's the key, is that if we don't integrate the parts of us that are still wounded and haven't faced or felt or been honest with themselves. So there's stages to this work, and I'm doing all kinds of challenging things because of what happened to me at such a young age, kind of transferring my attention from being like I basically found other parents that were just people a little older than me, and I abandoned my family to go be under a totally different sort of wing, and it just was, to be that young, to be 16 and to begin that process. It's not something others haven't, people have been through much worse, but the way in which I did it, I abandoned myself, and there's a lot of work in getting to communicate with that part of myself and work through the glitches, the disconnections. And so I'm working on being more grounded than I already am, and I have a lot of grounded energy from martial art training. I'm able to anchor in ways most people aren't, but there's because of the work I'm doing, I have to get even more grounded than I am by far. Like there's just it's very infinite. Shamans would bury themselves in the earth for long periods of time. Can you imagine? It the earth is very sentient. She will take care of you, but it's the ability to receive it, the ability, the courage to get to the pain, to admit how much pain there is, and then to be able to transfer it to her. And that requires, like, shamans aren't spiritual, they're energetic, or at least Toltecs. But that doesn't mean that there isn't this most delicate and powerful relationship that we have with believing. Toltecs say you have to believe. There's stages of your perceptual journey in which you have to believe, because you're creating it. And so, yeah, you're creating an illusion, but you're utilizing it. This whole thing, we create our reality, so we have to believe in what we create. And so to believe that the mother, it moves into knowing, but at first it's a believing, and then the knowing makes it possible to work with her and become close with her, and then she starts to show you and guide you, and like in the gazing, she starts to reveal and teach you how to go further in the gazing. And I have to pull back. The gazing it's just the doorway, and I'm not anchored enough. I used to have elders that were watching over me, and now I'm on my own and I need to be, but that means I have to do things differently than I did before, and I wasn't advanced like I am now in these areas, so I have to, I get to. I don't have to do anything, but I choose to go very slow and steady with this incredible way of life, of perceiving energy directly, and I haven't even had the breakthroughs that some of the people I work with have. But I have some sobriety and understanding about the pitfalls of this path, so I'm helpful to people who are even more advanced than I am in areas, or even totally, but they appreciate my perspective, because I've been with a lot of powerful people who fell out of balance, who were really, really rare. And I'm lucky to even be okay from some of the shit I went through, as far as like just how unstable it is to destabilizing it can be to not have energetic roots and be doing advanced perceptual stuff. I keep finding out about people who've had Kundalini awakenings that they ended up being on medication for their life, much of their lives. So there's a reason to go slow and steady. I don't know why people do Vipassanas so aggressively and then move beyond their resiliency zone so swiftly that I think this is the reason religions and programs and the predator is so effective at controlling us, is it just pushes us either down or forces us to the extremes. You'll notice a lot of people are very extreme. They can't kind of be just, and I'm I'm one of these, but um, some people are much more extreme than I am, and there's a desperation in that. It's hard to just be with where we are. We always want to change ourselves or like give up and blame someone, like your partner or whatever. So we're all pretty predictable. We all have these strange, easily controllable traits that require being honest about, and then getting, reflecting amongst your peers and friends and hanging out with people that are really similar to me is really disturbing. It's like, oh yeah, that's me, that's how I am. And our patterns are like, we're turning into our parents, and we have to almost dig really deep in order to keep that from happening. Part of that is finding a solution with food, with sleep, with nervous system regulation. I was told that I would lose my vision. I was told these things all my life because the genetics of my family, and it's just, it's like curses. The whole system is a curse in a way. It's designed to curse you, to control you, to ritualize you. And we got to see that, in 2020, they came out with all these rituals, which all represent the rituals they go through, these people who are into these things. So for those that can't see that or couldn't see that, there's not they can't see it, they sense it, but they're unwilling to come to terms with it, because they would have to face something that they don't believe is possible. They would have to look in the eyes of something that they don't have the courage to look in the eyes of. And so here we are wanting these people to wake up, but in reality, like, what is that going to do? Are they really, I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible and that more and more people won't, but for us to be invested in other people's perception is insane. This whole place is a mental ward, and we just are in a different floor now, and we have maybe a better view of what's going on, because we get to look, or I don't know, like all the floors are glass or whatever, and you can see through all the layers and all the different stages of mental illness. But we got to come to terms with the fact that we don't know. If you really read the Castaneda material, it exposes how unaware we are of our relationship to these other beings that are overseeing the construct. And it's really disturbing to actually witness energetically. So shamans prepare themselves to be able to witness this, not just philosophically or have an idea of what it might look like, but to actually observe it. And that's no joke. We don't want to go trying to see these things prior to having developed an indifference and a detachment that would allow us to then utilize it as a jolt to activate and direct us toward a more powerful way of life. Because otherwise it could do the opposite. It could make you unable to proceed if you saw these things too soon. And so I too try to work with clients who are advanced and help them to consider how important it is to slow down. They've already achieved a lot of things, opened a lot of doors, and would really benefit from just getting really sober with their perspective and just doing the movements, the recapitulation, and trusting that the recapitulation of their life will guide them as to how to proceed with their gifts. So the Toltecs don't say things for no reason. They're very explicit about what works and what doesn't, and they've been monitoring this for tens of thousands of years. So I'm very thankful to Carlos Castaneda, to the people associated, even though I think things got really out of balance. And I'm glad that I didn't go train with them when it was available to do so. But that doesn't mean, that it was inevitable that they would go through those difficult learning stages of trying to share this knowledge with the masses. And it's almost like trying to build a bridge between a very vast place that the people that were showing up were just, it caused a lot of chaos for them because it was such a powerful energy and everyone wanted in on it. And I feel for everybody that got involved, everyone that got hurt, the amount of confusion one might go through being in the presence of people that are super powerful like Florinda and Taisha and Carlos and Carol Tiggs. And I have had the honor and the present to spend time with Carol Tiggs, to witness her, and she's still around, and she's actually just to know she's around is enough for me. I'm not needing any more. But everyone has holes in their consciousness, and so even that group has not been willing to look at certain things about what's going on in the world right now, or at least they haven't come out and acknowledged that at this time. So that's such a strange dynamic to be witnessing as well. So appreciate everybody's attention and willingness to consider how powerful they are, to come out of limitation around what's possible. Our willingness to sit inside of our desire and really admit to what it is that we truly want, and to not have to vacate that feeling, but to stay with it. That's the benefit of getting to know yourself and having conversations with yourself, really spending time alone, moving through all of the feelings that want to arise, allow them to move through you, learn how to release them. I use music that I love, and it brings me tears of joy and sadness. Strong emotions move through my being when I'm in the flow state. And I've found many, many creative ways to get there. The shamanic movements, and there's many kinds. There's the immortals, there's Aikido Mai, which I'll be sharing with people. It's a way of tapping into the Japanese martial arts in a very strange, abstract way that's associated with Aikido, but it's really more of an abstract expression of the energy. But yeah, learning to express your body and allowing it to move in dynamic ways, it will start to know how to take care of itself. Um, we're not just physical creatures. It's not just going to the like, that's why, I mean, yoga can be really powerful for people, because you're especially what happens with shavasana at the end, when you're able to just go into stillness. All that movement leads to this peace where you get to just, but all of it is powerful, and if we can learn to master, or get our breath work more and more dialed, our ability to um, relieve and move stagnant energy, that's the key. And I used to, you know use very intense means. I'd go to very specific places in the world where I knew it would happen for me, and it did, because I believed it, because I had fallen in love with those places. But for a lot of people, I think going to the ocean can be a massive transformation, because it's such a powerful energy, especially like places if you can find more private spots on the ocean somehow. Usually in the colder regions, but that can even be more powerful, is to go be in the intensity of the cold ocean. Uh, Not that you have to get in it, but just walking out toward it, and using gazing as a means to connect to the ocean is significant. And she will communicate with you. She will remove your shields when you're ready. Just stare at her in silence, and she will do things to your perception or help you in a way that's beyond comprehension. And it's hard for me not to be there, but at the same time, I got guided to be with this time here in the mountains of Montana has been exactly what I needed, and it's created a complete, well, it was just guided so strongly. There was no way to say no, and I'm so thankful I said yes. And so we learn to develop a relationship with guidance, and it starts to become, uh, you know, we, it's we may think we know what we want, but Spirit knows what we want even more. And then as we get to know ourselves more, then we become closer to Spirit, and then Spirit. So it's a cool dance, and I know it's confusing. It's frustrating, because there's areas in which we're being kept from that relationship because of our mind, and the mind isn't natural, and that's confronting. But the more and more people that become able to do this kind of work, the more easy it'll be for the rest of us. And so much love, everyone. Thank you for being a witness to this share, and I'll see you next time.